Hi everyone. Hopefully this is working and we're going to test the internet connection. And while we're waiting for everyone to join in, this is Logan. We're going to see if Logan wants to say hi, but I don't think he does. So come on in. Hopefully the connection's working and hopefully the screen's working. Did you want to come and say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. So if you guys would do me a favor, hello, hey guys, and let me know if the sound and the picture screen is coming out all right. Thanks for joining me tonight. Kitty doesn't want to hang out, so that's okay. Come here, Kitty. He'll go get into trouble while I'm occupied. Good evening, happy Friday. How are you guys doing? I'm so excited for this. This is probably the class that I am most excited for. Awesome. Thanks so much, Sandy. Awesome. Hi, Kathy. Thank you guys so much. This one is going to be really exciting for me. Hi, Marie. I've come a long way from my journey, and it's definitely been a learning experience, so I'm really excited to share with you guys. Hope you guys are comfy. I'm not going to get all sciencey, geeky on you guys. I'm going to make this really just simple. I'm just going to share a summary of my journey. So thanks for joining me tonight. Come on in. I actually was very hesitant. So some of you, if you know me, hey girl, hey Jessica. So if you know me, you know that I am very skeptical and I am very analytical. I like to research things. I like to just really dig into things and stuff like that. So what I do whenever I'm looking into something, especially if it's something that I'm going to be talking about on my Healthy Families for God page, is that I really research and dig into it. When I first started looking into supplements, and as I'm having clients come to me and their babies are having issues with things where they need a really good probiotic, I started digging into looking at probiotic supplements, and I was having a really hard time finding an allergen-free probiotic for infants. So when I finally did find one, I was really excited, but then I learned that it was only sold to healthcare practitioners. So I realized that in order to be able to make that product available, I would have to private label it from the company and sell it. And that was the only way that I could get that to my clients and other people who needed that. So that kind of started a journey to me. For me, and I really didn't want to have to do that. I didn't really want to have to sell anything, but for that situation, it was the only way that I could get that product available to people. And then I started looking into some of the other supplements that were not offered very widely. So what I found, for instance, was chlorella. I was looking to chlorella. It was a fabulous supplement. It was doing great things for me, but I was learning that most of the other companies were selling chlorella from some of the most highly contaminated sources like Japan and China. So I found that the company that I was private labeling from also had a very clean chlorella supplement that was sourced from South Korea, from indoor facilities, so it wasn't contaminated, and it also had enzymes in it which help break through biofilms and make the chlorella more active. Anyway, so this is just kind of how my journey goes with things like this. I would never offer anything that I couldn't totally get behind, and I just really like to message companies and find out more and stuff like that before I make a decision. The last thing I want is for something bad to happen to somebody because of something that I recommended. So I knew as I'm working with clients over the years, I'm seeing this huge gap of something that needed to fill that gap, and in the high dose vitamins that I really liked and saw a lot of changes and things with, and some of the other natural ways just wasn't filling that gap. There was still that gap. We needed something there, and I knew that essential oils might be able to fill that gap. But I knew that would open up a whole can of worms for me, because that meant it was time to research like mad. Not only would I have to research if essential oils could really do what I was finding the research said that they could do, but I'd also have to research which company or companies would actually have that good oil, something that was sourced well, that met my same standards for the chlorella and the probiotics and things like that that I had spent so much time looking into. So that began a really big journey for me, and it was one that I hesitated to embark on because I knew it was going to take a lot of time investment. So when I finally got around to it, I just said, I've got to do it, and I started looking into it. The research that I was finding was leading me into a direction I did not want to go. The direction was pointing to Young Living, and I did not want to go that route. Why? Because it was not a company that I could just, it was a company that's direct marketing, and I had some very strong biases about that when I was looking into essential oils. So I kept digging further and looking into other companies and things like that, and thinking there's gotta be something else that compares, that has the same quality, and I couldn't find anything. So tonight I want to share with you what I found on that journey. I'm not going to share the things that I found about other companies because I'm just going to share with you what I learned about Young Living and what I found about Young Living. The company really has high integrity, and I want to mimic that as I'm talking about the company tonight, and that means no talking about other companies. So whatever I found, you're just going to have to see if you can find on your own or take my word for it. I found some things that people probably don't want to know, and that's okay. I'm not going to share those tonight. What I'm going to share with you is the research that led me to choose Young Living and to only be comfortable recommending those. So this has been about a 6-year journey, and I did, after about 2 years, decide to start to become a member with Young Living in order to get the wholesale discount. My journey kept continuing with research, and I'm still researching because I'll never stop researching. That's just who I am. And so what you're going to get tonight is like a 30-minute synopsis of about 6 years of research. I'm going to break it down into 4 or 5 reasons why I ended up going with Young Living. So if I'm going too fast, or if you have questions, please go ahead and comment, and I'm going to be reading comments as I do this, and I'm going to be smelling an oil that helps me focus because I can get a little distracted when I read comments and I read my notes at the same time. So tonight I've got Genius. This is a blend that my kids use while they're doing their schoolwork, and I like to use it too for focus. So, all right. So number one, how and why I chose Young Living, because they work. So for years, I had been using essential oils from the grocery store for cleaning and things like that. I wasn't sure about using them topically because a lot of them said, warning, that they're hazardous or they may irritate skin. And I was like, well, I don't want to use those on my skin, but I think they're natural, so I'll just use them for cleaning products and stuff, for when I, make my cleaning products, make my home smell good. Then one day we had a situation where one of my kiddos needed, just some help with something. My friend gave me an oil for it, and I was impressed. I didn't know essential oils could do that. So then I started just kind of using them a little bit from her, and I would ask her, like, hey, do you have an oil for this? Oh, you mean there's actually an oil for that? Okay. So then she just was very patient with me and kept giving me whatever oil I needed at the time for whatever particular thing that was going on. And I realized that they actually worked. They actually did something, and something very noticeable. So that was my first reason. It was because they actually do things that we hear essential oils can do. I had used other ones too. I had ordered from Mountain Rose Herbs, and I had ordered from all these other companies and stuff like that. And this was the first experience I had with essential oils that went, wow, they work. So she was just patiently giving me Young Living essential oils as I needed them. And that was pretty exciting for me, but still, it was a direct marketing company, so that's great. Just keep giving me the oils when I need them, okay? And I'll pay for them or whatever, but that's where that's going, right? So then my research started to get more into the facts, because this anecdotal experience made me realize that if I was going to help my family out, I needed to get a little bit deeper into this. So, okay, let's put the whole thing about it being a direct marketing company on the back burner and just investigate maybe what these can do for my family. So then I researched, and the first thing I found was the second reason that I started really considering Young Living, and that was because they have been around long. They have been around the longest. They have stood the test of time. What other company lasts this long? I'm not sure, especially in this kind of industry. So technically, Young Living was started in 1994. So it's definitely stood the test of time. I was always the kind of person who was like, even if I could afford it, I'd never buy a new car because who knows what could go wrong with it. All this new stuff, there's always recalls and all this stuff. So I was a very skeptical person about trying anything that was new. And so that really stood out to me, that this company had stood the test of time. They had the experience of going through the market as it's changing over the decades and making adjustments as needed, fine-tuning the processes of everything and things like that. So that really stood out to me. That was the second reason why I decided to start really digging into Young Living. The third reason is probably my favorite reason still. And this was the reason that really got me. And this is something that you may have heard of called Young Living Seed to Seal Commitment. A lot of people that have biases against Young Living will just don't quite understand this one. So I'm going to take a few minutes to explain what the Seed to Seal Commitment is with Young Living. So basically with Young Living, they are the only essential oil company to own their own farms, own their own distilleries, and to own their own labs. Now it goes deeper than that, but that right there is huge. I purposely, my husband and I, we purposely chose to purchase a few acres so that we could grow some of our own food and that we could raise our own chickens for eggs, because I'm telling you what, those eggs at the grocery store, who knows what kind of life those chickens live and who knows what they're fed. Well, I do now because I researched it. So that's why I got my own chickens. And I really don't like buying eggs from the grocery store because I know what my chickens are fed. I know they get sunshine. I know they get, non-GMO food, all that good stuff, right? I like to be able to see it from the beginning to the end because I know what goes into it. And so when I can't raise it myself or grow it myself, I want to know the farmer that does. I want to know. I want to see the process. And so when I buy my beef, I go to that farm and I look at it and I ask him questions. What do you feed them in the wintertime when there's not pasture available? Things like that. That's how I am. So I put that same scrutiny on this. And when I found that Young Living had their own farms, I really started to investigate more. So every step of this process and everything I discovered led me to more discoveries. So all of Young Living's essential oils come from three sources, one of three sources or whatever. They come from either their own farms that they own. They come from partner farms. So they have partner farms like in Australia and things like that where they partner with the farm. They find farmers who have a great piece of land, they have a great crop, and they just don't have the right place for it to go to. They don't have the resources to maybe distill it or things like that. And so Young Living is the perfect solution for them, and they partner together. And then the third source is a Seed to Seal certified farm. So this is one that they don't own and they don't partner with technically. However, in order for a farm to get the Seed to Seal to become a Seed to Seal certified farm, there's many things that have to happen. There's a huge gamut of paperwork, and there are some things that need to be done. For instance, if this farm has distilleries, Young Living will require that things that they meet Young Living standards. And one of those things, as an example, is that the distillery tanks, most of them use PVC in some parts of their tanks or their system. And if you don't know, PVC is pretty toxic, okay? Especially if you've got things coming through there like essential oils that are going to be going into your bloodstream. And so we don't want them to get any toxins along the way. Young Living makes sure that all of their oils come from somewhere that only uses glass or stainless steel. The oils only touch glass or stainless steel through the distillation process. So if they are working with a farm that is going to be seed to seal certified, they will go in and make sure that all the pipes or whatever it is need to be are switched out so that they are only glass or stainless steel. That's just one of many examples that I've come across. I'm not going to go into all of them with you, but that's just one. So those are the 3 kinds of farms where Young Living's essential oils come from. Where do other companies' essential oils come from? Brokers. And that's where it gets nasty. That's where this whole thing gets nasty. Brokers are experts at finding the cheapest material, producing it the cheapest way possible, which sometimes includes adulteration, making it so that it looks okay on GCMS tests, and then selling it to unsuspecting customers who will listen to whatever they want to say and lie about through their teeth, okay? So there's some pretty nasty things that can go on buying through brokers. That's just a big no-no, but you know what? The way that it is, every other company it is so dependent on brokers, and that's something that I just don't ever want to be into. So the 3 kinds of farms, again, are their own farms, partner farms, and seed to seal certified farms. They have their own distilleries, and like I said, they're very picky about the distillation process. And there's some really awesome things that come with being around for a long time. So here's one example. Having been distilling plants, and the next part of my favorite thing about seed to seal is having their own labs, is that they can fine-tune the distillation process to make sure that they are getting the maximum amount of therapeutic benefits out of those plant materials. So for instance, they can distill a product slower at lower temperatures and test it and say, wow, that comes out better, you know, more therapeutic, right? Or they can harvest it sooner, or after it's done raining, or they can harvest it and dry it for 3 more days, or they can harvest it and distill it right away. And they can monitor all of this and say, nope, that got us a better result. Okay, now let's try this, and that got us a better result. And they have been doing this for 20 years. And so we're just gleaming and benefiting from all of that amazing decades of research on just fine-tuning the distillation process, the harvesting, the distillation, and all that stuff. So that really was very impressive to me. So like I said, Young Living also has their own labs. They also have third-party labs where their oils go out for testing. The name of those labs cannot be disclosed because they are the same labs that the FBI uses. So they can't say that. But their own labs are really important in this because, good question, Nikki, I will get to that. So they have their own labs for the purpose of, like I said, really fine-tuning the process and making sure that the end product is as beneficial as possible. They also make sure that every single essential oil gets tested 3 times before it's available to you. 3 times, every single essential oil. When you look online for other companies and you see a GCMS test result, that was probably from one good batch that they had, and then the other ones are not monitored. And then maybe once in a while they'll decide to retest again. There's no regulation on that. Every single one of Young Living's essential oils is tested 3 times through a gamut of tests before it is made available. Let me give you an example of some of those tests. So we know GCMS, right? It just makes sure that the constituents are right to make it be what it says it is, right? There is something that the company did to modify one of their GCMS test machines to make it the only one in the world that can test that definitive and that precise. It broke the warranty on this whatever $1 million machine, but because of the efforts to always be looking as in-depth as possible at these oils, It didn't matter. The company decided to do it anyway. And so the Young Living has the only 3-column GCMS test machine in the world. So GCMS is tested on every single essential oil, and then so are other tests. So other tests like the isotope ratio mass spectrometer test, this is one that tests to see if the constituents in the essential oil are actually real or synthetic. What it does is it will test, it's really interesting for those of you who are science nerds like I am. But anyway, what I'm going to say is basically that this tests the constituents to see if it was something that actually grew in nature or if it was something created in a lab. And it can do that. It's really cool. So every single oil is tested on that as well. Every single one is tested. The pH is tested. The flash point is tested. The shelf life is tested. And it's tested for heavy metals. And this is an important one because it's not 3 different tests. It's every single essential oil is tested 3 times through all of the tests. So if other companies were to do this because they don't own their own labs, it would cost them a fortune. And so they don't do it. But Young Living has the machines themselves. They've invested in the machines. They own the labs. They can do this themselves. So one of the tests, like I said, tests for heavy metals. And that's very important because when you're using essential oils, they're going right into your bloodstream, whether you're inhaling them or you're applying them topically or using them internally. They are going into your bloodstream. They're going and into the fatty layers of your skin. And so we don't want heavy metals in them, but unfortunately that can happen with essential oils. So for example, earlier this year, an essential oil or plant material, I don't remember which one it was, came from one of Young Living's Seed to Seal certified supply farms. So they have these Seed to Seal certified farms, and because they don't own these farms can sell to other companies as well. So anyway, this product came from that other Seed to Seal certified farm, and Young Living's testing found that it did contain trace amounts of mercury. And so they sent it back, and they're working with that farm to discover the source of that so that they can work with, this was a long time Seed to Seal certified farm, and so they're working with it to figure out the source of it, but they're not accepting that oil and they're not putting it into us. Unfortunately, that other companies can buy that material and sell it, and they're not going to know that it has mercury because they're not testing every batch for it. And this was not one that would be suspected to have contained that. And so other people, if you're putting essential oils out from other companies, you could be putting mercury into your skin, into your bloodstream. And so that's just something that is really important. And that's why I'm really glad that Young Living is able to test all of these things with all of the oils before they come into our home. So there's a lot more about that kind of stuff. The scientists who work in Young Living's labs are working with top researchers in the field of aromatherapy, including Nobel Prize winner that is at the forefront of some of the most amazing aromatherapy research ever. So they're staying on the front edge of all of this and constantly researching and learning more, and they're able to really incorporate that research right into the company farms where the labs are. So no other company comes even close to that. And so that was where I had to go, okay, I have to suck it up. I have to just deal with it and buy from a company that's a direct marketing company, because this is the only way that I can get essential oils that I feel safe putting on my family. So I did, and I became a wholesale member. And I didn't really like to talk about it much because I knew that there are a lot of people out there who have the same bias about direct marketing companies that I used to. So I didn't really talk about it much. But then there became a point where I realized that a lot of people's lives were being completely changed by the power of these essential oils, because when they actually work, they actually work. And so I knew that if I cared about people, I had to start sharing that. So I kind of didn't really get over that whole direct marketing thing still, but I thought I got to share it. And then as soon as somebody would diss something about it because it's a direct marketing company, it would make me be quiet about it because I just wasn't comfortable with that part about it, and I didn't know any other way to get such good essential oils. But then I realized the fourth reason why I am still choosing Young Living is because it's a direct marketing company. And here's what I learned. The fourth reason is because while better quality costs more, obviously these machines that every single essential oil is tested with is going to cost and add to the cost, and owning their own farms. When I raise chickens for our own eggs, it costs a lot more than what I would pay to get eggs from the store. We have, you know, there are a lot of expenses involved in even just letting our hens be free range, be pastured, completely go where they feel nature leads them, because there's going to be losses sometimes. And that, you know, we put $30 worth of food, of organic food, into a bird, and then all of a sudden it's gone and there's a pile of feathers there. You know, and the alternative to that is keeping them locked up where they don't get sunshine, they don't eat bugs, and their eggs are pale yellow, and we're not getting the nutrition out of them. So there are costs associated with doing things yourself and doing them the best possible way, especially the way that God intended. So while it costs more, Young Living has ways, because it's a direct marketing company, for us to get them for less or even free. Ton of different ways, tons of different options. There are rewards programs. Even just being a membership, you're saving 24%, and that's why I knew that that was the only inevitable route to go. But then there's more. There's the Essential Rewards program, so I get 25% more off of my products, and there's ways to get them for free too, completely free. So that's actually turned into a very nice benefit of it that I didn't realize was possible with direct marketing companies. So what happens? We get to help other people get these therapeutic essential oils into their family's home, and supporting them when we order through them. And so to me, that's just such a better model of helping each other out in our health and things like that. So I've learned to actually love it and realize that that is one of my favorite reasons why I chose Young Living. And I didn't choose it for that in the beginning, but now I would choose it 100 times because of that, because I'm able to support other people and I'm able to help other people get free essential oils into their home, and I'm able to help my family in so many more ways than I ever thought was possible, and friendships, new relationships. And part of what we do on our team is we make sure that anybody who is a Young Living member through us is into all the resources and the private groups and things like that that we have, so we can constantly support each other and encourage each other and things like that. And that's just a bonus of it being a direct marketing company. So let me go back to the term therapeutic grade. So originally, therapeutic grade was created by Young Living in an effort to say, we are different than what you're getting at the grocery store or from these other companies. There's something different here. They are tested for therapeutic benefits. Other companies grabbed a hold of that and said, we want to say that too. And since there's no regulation or anything like that to be able to say that, they took it and said it however they want to. And then it became a marketing term. So unfortunately, that term has been ruined a little bit because everybody's just been taking it and going with it. It's kind of like the term free range for chickens. You can put 5,000 chickens in a tiny pole barn, and as long as they're not in cages, you can say that they're free range. You know, so it's become an unfortunately overused and abused term. It was Young Living's intention to be able to use that to show that they were taking the standards put out by other aromatherapy industries in other countries and saying we are doing that plus more. And so, so every batch is every, oh, I see what you're saying, Jacqueline. Every essential oil batch, as far as I know, is tested, as long as it's all in the same batch and it's all going through the same thing to be into the bottles. So yeah, so there's many tests that they go through, and that's a good thing, because something like this, when it's going straight into your bloodstream, it really should be. Yes, you can state, Lisa, yes, you can say that sometimes mercury does show up. It's not often, but there's no way to know when it's going to be there without testing every single batch. So yes, you can share that. That is compliant. Yep, so I mean, really, unfortunately, but now it turns out to be fortunately, as I've learned, direct marketing, that's what Young Living is. And the reason, so I had listened to the founder of the company speak, and he had said that the 2 reasons why he kept it as a direct marketing company, even when he was offered a really nice deal from a company to buy it and make it a just regular storefront kind of company, was he declined, and he said because the 2 most important things are friendship and education when it comes to using essential oils. And you can't get that if it's not a direct marketing company. It doesn't basically create or force that kind of atmosphere when you're just buying from a storefront. When people order chlorella or the probiotics off of my website, I get the difference between what I pay the manufacturers and what the customer pays me for them. I get the difference. That's it. Nothing else happens. They just pay me. I send it to them. I get the difference. I send more money to the manufacturers to buy more of the probiotics and chlorella, and again, I just get the difference. That's it. Okay, that's great. But honestly, I like the direct marketing method more. Why? Because if somebody has ordered through me and they want to bless their family with more free products, and so they're starting to share, I can help them. I can help them do that. And so when I benefit, when they benefit, I benefit. When I benefit, they benefit. I can pass it down. They pass it up. That's just the way it works. And so it's better because when somebody orders something, they're helping way more than just one person. And so when somebody orders something off of Healthy Families for God, like my chlorella and stuff, I appreciate it so much. I wish it could help more people though than just me when somebody orders. And so that's what Young Living does. And so I would rather have somebody order something from somebody way down for me in my Young Living team than order directly from me on my Healthy Families for God website with like my chlorella and things like that, because then it benefits more people. So that's why I've come to love that part of it too. So, it took me years to get over that and to really figure out the truth about direct marketing. And obviously not all direct marketing companies are this way. There are definitely companies who have ruined the whole just idea of direct marketing. That's what ruined it for me. And that's why I had the bias about it in the beginning. And so, we can't do anything about other people's biases, but we sure can do something about ours by educating ourselves and really looking into it and considering the difference. So, yep, when you find something works, how can you not share it with other people? And that's where I got to a point where I couldn't not share it with other people. So I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight for this. It's been quite the journey, and the more I do it, the more I realize that I am so incredibly blessed to be a part of this. And it was just God's great gift to me to be able to take me on this journey and to be able to help me get over my bias that was holding me back from so many amazing things. So I hope that it doesn't hold you guys back too, because this is an amazing journey and these oils work. They work. And so if you are on our team, I hope that you've been finding the information that we post about the essential oils and stuff there, that it's helpful and that your life is changing because of it. it's hard because the government says there's a lot of things we are not allowed to say about the essential oils. So I'm very limited as to what I can say. And that's why you won't see a lot of that kind of stuff on my page. But if you have questions, I'd sure be able to help you in a private message. So please don't hesitate to message me questions. If you have, if you are already a Young Living member and you are, you're enrolled through somebody else or something, please get in touch with your leadership and see what kind of resources they have to offer you. That's just one of the huge benefits of being a part of this company. So you guys are such a blessing to me. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be watching the comments to see if there's anything else that I can help you with, or if you have any questions. That's just like the tip of the iceberg of what I've learned as I've researched this. If you guys want to learn more and you really want to dig into just learning more about the entire process and the entire history and how things came to be, I highly recommend you get this book. This book goes into the very beginning of the company, and it talks about how it formed, and it talks about the few little plants that it all started with, and the first distiller that was made to be able to just get a little bit of personal experience with the essential oils and distilling them, and all of the adventures meeting famous aromatherapists around the world, and just partnering with them and learning more. And then it goes into all of Young Living's farms as of the date that this book was written, and just what makes that farm so amazing. And it talks about all of the different testing and just all the ways that they analyze the plants and they grow them. So there's charts in here that show exactly, like for instance, plant material and then the distilling time. And so they fine-tuned the distilling process for some of these to really be able to make sure that they're getting the best possible product available. So no other company is able to do this. They can lower the temperature and they can do it for longer. It costs more. That's why other companies don't do this. So if you're paying for less, you're paying for the cheap process. So it's really great information. You can get this book on Life Science Publishing. So the website is discoverlsp.com. And if you are a member of our team, we get these for a discount because I paid for the premium membership so that we can get anything off of their website for the preferred member pricing. And so we are happy to help you put an order in for anything on the website. That's just a bonus of being a member on our Oily Friends team. We want to make it as easy and beneficial as possible for you to be able to get the resources to help your family out as much as possible with the natural journey. So that's one reason why we went that way. Beginning with barely. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. And this journey has been all about a labor of love. It's not about some big venture to make a ton of money. That's not, that it was just for me. It just started because I wanted to give my family the best possible natural health resources available. And so God has really expanded that journey for me. And for those of you who've been on that journey with me, I am so grateful you're on it with me. It's been amazing, hasn't it? So that's about it. Check out this book if you guys want more information. Message me anytime with questions. I would just say one last thing. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't put it off like I did. My family missed out on the benefits for years because of my bias. I could have been researching it while they were getting the health benefits from it, but I didn't. So I just don't want your family to miss out on this, especially because it's winter time and you guys, we need them. We need them. So our family is just that much better because we have them in our lives. And so don't miss out on them because of biases like I did. I'm happy to give you guys any research and experiences and things that I've learned so that your family can get the best health possible. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I am so glad you took time on your Friday to just walk this journey with me. Feel free to share this video however and wherever you feel fit. It's for everyone. So have a great night, you guys.